Hi, and welcome to Matt Holman Talks Mental Health, the podcast where I have the opportunity to sit down and chat with amazing humans about their journeys and their stories with mental health. For this episode, I'm so happy to introduce Bhavna to the conversation. Welcome, Bhavna.
Hello, Matt. So lovely to meet you.
Oh, it's lovely to see you as well. Perfect to have a wonderful guest attending for this episode as well, of course, as always. Just very quickly, I do a short introduction to how we got to this point where we're recording an episode together. I'll let you do a proper introduction to who you are, what you do very soon. But Bhavna reached out to me through social media, as many of these episodes actually sort of come about. People reach out to me, and I love that because when I'm asking for people to come and have conversations and chats with me, I love hearing how people want to engage and want to tell their stories or get involved in talking about their stories as well. And so there's no exception. Bhavna reached out. We've just engaged in a conversation. We've had a little pre-recording conversation, which has just been wonderful to get to know each other a little bit better. But I'll let you do a proper introduction, Bhavna. So over to you. Little introduction, please.
Bless you, Matt. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I just want to say thank you for inviting me. Thank you for making this time. But mostly how incredibly we've connected. I have never spoken with you before half an hour ago. And I feel like I could speak with you for hours and hours and hours because we're so passionate about this work. So it's joyful and a wonderful way to start off by having a little giggle. So it just breaks the ice a little bit. Despite many years, decades actually, of lecturing and speaking in front of people, all of a sudden I'm feeling a little bit camera shy.
Oh, really? You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Oh, bless you. No, it's all good. So a little introduction about myself. I'm a psychotherapist, a coach and a supervisor. I also provide training. I used to train counselors and nurses on access courses at local colleges, but I provide training to businesses on mental health issues. I'm also incredibly passionate about working with HR advisors, managers, heads of HR in how they deal with the employee and their workforce, because I've worked with employee assistance programs since 2006 and been registered with, goodness me, businesses, EAPs around the world.
Okay.
So I've dealt with many clients from many organizations presenting with a lot of issues. So one of the things that I want to give back is to work with HR as a form of feeding back from my experience over the last 16 years or so.
Yeah.
My passion is people. I love what I do. I've often said this work is not work. This is the love of my life.
Love that.
Because it's just so important to be able to do what I do, which is work with people, to help individuals, to the privilege of our work, to be able to come together with another human being who may be in distress, who may not be able to be living their life fully, to be able to sit for a few sessions together and almost watch them rise, or almost, from this fetal position that we all end up in when we're burdened with life, to watch them rise, and start to straighten up. And, some of my clients, I've seen them rise and they're almost a foot taller than they actually are physically, and that is humbling. It's more important than all the money in the world. Money can't buy that.
No.
People talk about Lamborghinis and this, that, and money can't buy seeing the light come on in somebody's eyes. Where they reconnect with themselves and feel that there's hope.
Amazing.
In their lives.
Yep.
And the sort of last part of my incredibly long job description is my critical incidents work. I've been a critical incidents responder and debriefer since 9/11, but more, I got more involved the day after the London bombings. I volunteered to with my EAP to go in and just go wherever I was needed. And I was sent to the Camden Emergency Response Unit to work with the teams there. And I was actually based with them at their site, and I was there to support them as they went back and forth, looking for survivors, helping survivors, and then rescue and recovery. So I think out of all my critical incidents work, that's been the most rewarding and the most humbling.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of post-trauma work with robberies or deaths in service, working with surviving colleagues and supporting families.
Right.
That I
It's a great, yeah.
I don't know
Great
what
work.
to say about that. It's been humbling.
Yeah.
And I won't change it for the world. Obviously, I wish it hadn't happened.
Yeah, of course.
But to be able to go in and do something useful.
Yeah.
And this was precipitated after the Hatfield disaster. When I had just graduated and I saw everything unfold on TV.
Right.
And I remember sitting with my then director. I was running an alcohol counselling project in East London, and I sat with my director in her office, and I cried. I cried with that frustration because I wanted to be there, on the ground helping.
Yeah.
But I didn't know which channels to go down, apart from just turning up and then becoming more of a burden, to the emergency responses who were there. So that's been a huge achievement in my life to be able to do that.
Incredible. Wow. What an introduction. That's and you've done, oh my days, honestly, I'm just inspired by everything you've just shared. And I think I was racking my brains as you were talking as well about, I think you might be I think you are the first psychotherapist that I've had on the call as well, on this set, on one of these conversations. And it's lovely to have an alternative perspective as well from, you see a lot of people and you work with and support, and you said it, thousands of people that you work with. And I love that. And it's a journey, isn't it, that you're constantly trying to help others through as well, because that's what this is about. You're supporting, and I like to think of it more as a coach than a therapist, more to help people along that path. And so I'm going to ask you a big question, Bhavna, which is, there's a reason why you do what you do. I'm sure there is a reason. There must be. You can't have just woken up one day when you were young and went, I can't wait to be a psychotherapist, get me on the train and get me into it. Tell a bit of a story. So the big question I always ask is your journey with mental health. Now, you define like how it works for you, what you think is important, but I'm just going to throw that over to you if that's okay. And I'd love to hear more about you, please.
Absolutely. So more about me. Okay, so how can I describe myself? I'm a girl from Africa. I was born in Tanzania, and today is the Tanzanian Independence Day. So, it feels really precious to be doing this. I was born in Tanzania. We came to the UK, myself, mum, and my two brothers, my younger brothers. When I was 9, and then 6 months later, unfortunately, my father had a massive heart attack at work and died at the age of 32.
Wow.
So mum then became widow. And I hate that label more than I can say, because in our community she was shunned.
Right.
It's seen as a sign of bad luck for a young woman, because she was blamed for killing her husband, for bringing bad luck to the family. So we were in a brand new country. There was a lot of racism. We grew up in the East End. I remember, being beaten up at school and on the way to and from school on a regular basis. This is going to sound very strange, but I was happy to get beaten up if it protected my brothers.
Right.
That was the deal.
Yeah.
To hand over our dinner money And if I didn't want them beaten up, then I had to take it, which absolutely fine. You know, I'm the eldest, they were my babies.
Yeah.
End of story. So, you know, mum was deeply, deeply traumatized by, you know, being in a strange country, all of those things. Unfortunately, you know, relations shunned us as well. We weren't supported. But looking back, I now give thanks and praises for that lack of support, because it pushed us all into a place in our being that you know, we had to show up, we had to step up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we weren't mollycoddled, we weren't wrapped in blankets and saved. We had to step up, and we had to fight a battle, and we had to do whatever was necessary. Okay. And what happened was, obviously, mum was bereaved, as were we. She lost capacity for a little while because, you know, new country, widowed, no help, little children. I was 9, my brother was 7, baby was 4.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
She went to the doctors, and our GP, who was Indian, who is still practicing, and who I have issues with,
Okay.
said, you know, go home and pray.
Wow. Okay.
Go home and pray for the soul of your husband. So that was the mental health bereavement support my mother got.
Wow.
Okay. And, you know, it makes me angry to this day.
Yeah, of course.
All right. And you know, we lost our beloved stepdad last year from a very aggressive cancer. So, you know, he was diagnosed formally in February, and we lost him in August. You know, so it was horrific.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a life altering experience. You know, then we went through school and college, university. The big thing in terms of my trauma response came when I was 21, 22,
Okay.
in 1992. So I'd started uni, you know, and during the summer holidays I worked in a shop in Oxford Street in London, and I befriended a male Indian colleague. No sort of fruity interests, if I can use that term.
I love the word fruity interest. Yeah. No love interest.
Yeah, just no love interest.
Just
It was just, yeah, you know, yeah. I heard his story, right, and I felt sorry, and I thought, you know, I'll be your friend.
Yeah.
Okay. So that remained a friendship until I started uni. He got very, very aggressive in terms of pursuing me, and I just wasn't interested. You know, there was nothing there. Yeah. So I met somebody at uni, fell madly, deeply, crazily in love, and we got together. And unfortunately, this guy turned up at uni one day with petrol and poured petrol on me and tried to set me on fire. You know, it was shocking, and the thing was, because I was so irritated with him because he just wouldn't get the message. You know, my then partner came to get me from one of the lecture theatres because we were at uni. Yeah. And said, you know, he's outside. So there I was, clicking, you know, down the corridor. Yeah. Just angry that, right, I'm going to have it out with him. I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. Yeah. I didn't know what was planned. So I got out there, started talking to him, and I just saw this bottle, Panda Pops bottle, come out with petrol in it. But I thought it was alcohol. Yeah, sure. And I thought he was going to be quite dramatic and, you know, drink this Panda Pops bottle of alcohol and you know, pretend to do something. It wasn't until I felt the petrol hit my jacket and my face, and I smelt
You
it.
could smell it, yeah.
And he was picking a lighter. Okay. Then my brain went into, oh, bleep. Okay. And I had a dangly bag, like a tote bag with a holder in.
Yep.
I had that, swung it, got the lighter out of his hand. My partner had, I heard him squeal because the petrol hit his eyes
Right.
and started burning. And that's where I lost the plot, because it was like, oh, you've hurt somebody I love.
Yeah.
So anyway, chased the guy around the corner, let him go, came back, called the ambulance. So, you know, all of that sick heart beating thing of, has he lost his sight? You know, what's
Yeah.
going on? Because he had blue eyes, he had beautiful blue eyes, and they were completely bloodshot red.
Right.
You know, like something out of a horror movie.
Wow.
So that was my intense experience of trauma.
Yeah.
You know, and if it affected uni, and on and on and on. The guy who threw the petrol disappeared, so the police couldn't find him. He then turned up at our work. You know, we both worked in the same department store.
Yeah.
And he turned up at our work, and then he was arrested.
Okay.
And then remanded on attempted murder. So
Wow.
all of this craziness was going on.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, you know, Mum was very, very distressed, very concerned. It affected the family because we were now expecting, you know, while he was missing, we were expecting petrol to come through the letterbox. You know, so I remember night after night standing in the kitchen, keeping guard throughout the night to you know, just make sure there's nobody around, because we lived on a council property.
Yeah.
You know, so the only way in or out was through the front door, and then the stairs out. So the front door, if that was on fire, there was no
You
other
had no escape. Yeah.
You know? So that was my introduction to trauma.
Yep.
You know, and that's one element. With regards to the psychotherapy, it's something I've wanted to do always,
Right.
always. You know, as a little person, you know, as a child, I didn't know what it was called. When I got to college, I'd actually started studying pure science because it was my father's wish when I grew up for me to be a heart surgeon.
Okay.
Okay. Little did he know that I am rubbish at maths. I can't calculate to save my life. I can do the long multiplications.
Right.
But, you know, molar calculations in chemistry and you know, all of that. Secondly, I'm a pure vegetarian. So, you know, cutting up little animals in biology, not a chance in hell.
Not working. Yep.
Yeah. You know, so sort of very heated discussions with my lecturers.
Right. There you go.
Okay. So eventually we both pulled up the white flag and said, you know, please get off our course. And I transferred to psychology.
Okay.
And I had a friend who was studying psychology already. And I remember having, you know, seeing her in the canteen. She had a psychology textbook. And I remember just opening it out of interest. And I was in love instantly, because I understood what I was reading.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And I have that actual physical book in my possession.
Okay.
You know, and this was 1989.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
And from that day, I haven't looked back. And one thing, you know, my lecturer, I remember we were looking at careers and what everybody wanted to do. And I said, yeah, I want to be a counselor. You know, 1989, this sort of, you know, gosh, 17 I was. Okay. And I knew categorically. And her response was, you know, that's absolutely fine, but, you know, do keep your options open, because I think you'll find that counseling and psychotherapy is more for, you know, the middle class white population.
Wow.
And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, sorry, did I
That's
mishear
crazy.
you? Have you just told me that the, because I'm Indian, I need to look at my options. And Matt, that was, I had two options that day, whether to fold and crumble and let her break my spirit,
Yeah.
or let that sentence break my spirit, or to square up and say, bring it.
Yeah. Use it
Okay,
as
watch this space.
Yeah.
Watch this space. All right. Because I'd come through too much.
Yeah.
Okay, the little girl who was working so hard in the convent school in East Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, where you'd be thrashed at every infraction. Okay, transplanted to the East End, going through the journey, losing my dad. And then this? I don't think so.
No.
So I worked incredibly hard. I finished my degree. I was refused a place on the masters because I was too young and inexperienced. Okay, so after I rolled my eyes back from the back of my head.
You've not really faced any adversity in your life then, have you?
No, gosh, not at all.
Nobody's pushed you at all in the wrong way or anything.
No.
You've always had support.
Easy life.
It sounds like you've had a really easy life. I don't mean that, of course.
Smooth sailing. Smooth.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
No.
Incredible.
So I had a year, and I don't know what I was on at the time, but it was like a year felt like a decade. You're wasting my time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I've got to plan, people. Right? I've got to achieve things so I can get on with my career. And for you to say I don't have enough experience, you haven't asked me my experience.
No.
Okay, so I thought, well, okay, bless you. So I registered to do a teacher training qualification for further education, which was a year long. Right. Joined it. Yeah. I thought I'm not wasting this year.
No.
All right. I've worked so hard because I had to restart after, essentially dropping out from my sciences.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was really imperative to make up time. So, it was about utilizing that time, because I'm still working on my old African education that, if I don't get it together, I'm going to be thrashed. Okay. God knows who by, but, that was the programming. So I did my teacher training, joined the course, loved it. 2 weeks into the course, the head of whatever department it was called me in. You've got a degree in psychology, haven't you? Yes. Would you like to teach? Sorry, what?
Oh, yeah. Hold on, I'm on a year course at the moment, so yeah. Oh wow.
Right. So some catastrophic thing had happened with they lost their psychology lecturer of the GNVQ Health and Social Care.
Right.
And they had 3 classes of very, very, very angry returns to education. Okay, so I said yes in my innocence and fervor, because I love teaching. I love teaching.
Yeah.
And I inherited 3 angry classes, and I was the youngest person there. Okay, so as the lecturer,
and you're turning up to lecture people who were
they had children older than me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like,
how was that received when you walked in that room?
They looked at me, and we were all squeezed. I think there was about 50 plus people squeezed into this room for a meeting. So I was introduced. I stepped in front of them, and they were just daggers because they'd been messed around so much.
Right.
And they were coming from a place of we've lost so much. We've made this commitment to come back to education. We're very frightened.
Yeah.
A lot of them had left education in their teens, for whatever reason. So to find the courage to come back,
Yeah.
and then
Big
to
step.
experience being messed around, they were angry because think about it, organizing childcare, organizing
Yeah, of course.
the other kids, taking time off work.
Yeah.
All of these things, and then they haven't got a lecturer.
And a young one walks through the doors. A
Yeah.
younger person.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Wow.
And one of the questions was, what do you think you're going to teach us? Okay. And I said, I'm not sure about teaching, but I'm going to share my journey with you. Because I thought I need to de-escalate this.
Yeah, of course.
This is a potentially volatile situation. Let me bring it down. And I said, look, this is who I am. This is what I can do. This is what I'm passionate about. And I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Okay. Give me a chance. Let's do this. Okay. If I'm screwing up, give me 4 weeks. Okay. Let's get some sessions under our belt.
Yeah.
If I'm screwing up, tell me and I'll walk. Okay. I will take my leave and I will go.
Yeah.
Right. But let's use this opportunity because I'm all you've got at the moment. Right. And it'll give them a chance to find somebody else. Right. So you're not missing out. I get to have a go.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a go.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll try my best. Yeah. I sort of know what I'm talking about, maybe.
Yeah. And the majority of them left with distinctions.
Amazing.
Okay. And there was one particular one who had a very soft spot in my heart. A lot of them did, but there was one particular, her husband had been murdered in the East End.
Wow. Right.
She had children and, just come through it, and she wanted to go into social work.
Yeah.
And she was very untrusting of me. Very, very untrusting. So, the first assignments, most people just barely passed because they were coming into psychology, which is a difficult subject.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learning a new way of thinking about it, all of that. And there were riots.
Right.
But it was like, no. We need to do it like this because you guys are going to uni. I'm preparing you from that end, not from this end. I'm not going to mollycoddle you.
Wow.
Okay. I will coach you to within an inch of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm preparing you for what's behind that door because I've just been there and I wasn't prepared. Okay.
Yeah.
By the time we finished, most of them left with distinctions.
That's
and
incredible.
This particular lady, I wish I could name her.
Yeah.
She said that she wants to be a social worker and she wants a yellow Saab.
Oh, right.
So
particular, isn't it?
If you're listening.
Yeah, and you have a yellow Saab.
Okay, you know who you are.
Yeah.
She phoned me a number of years later and she said, I've just passed my degree. I'm going to be a social worker and I have got my yellow Saab.
There you go.
And it was like,
Amazing. That you made that, you enabled her to do that as well.
They allowed me.
Yeah.
Okay. They allowed me. And Matt, that is how I feel about my clients.
Yeah.
Okay. People that reach out to me, people that are referred to me via EAPs. Okay. All of them are the same to me. I'm there to serve. I'm there to bring the weight of my 25 years and the weight of my 17,000 clients, and counting, to bear for them individually.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think you said something really profound earlier about it's not only psychotherapy, it is coaching, because we're looking at the emotional impact and mental health and all of those things. But for me, it's like, right, okay, so this person is standing up and you're seeing the light in their eyes, and okay, now what? How do we tool them up to go forward and not have to come back to me?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, there's a ongoing joke in psychotherapy that if you're doing it properly, you're constantly talking yourself out of a job.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, once we're done,
Yeah.
my prayer, my faith, my everything is that, you know, if you need to turn back, I am here. Right? Because other things
Yeah.
come up. Other things come up. Life happens. All right. But to all intents and purposes, once you leave, I want you to go out there and light up this damn world. Okay, just one candlelight to another candlelight. Let's create an inferno. Let's put light in all the dark places.
I love that.
Okay, so you know that's what I love about my work.
Amazing.
Yeah, and there are parts of me where I think, you know, I wish I knew marketing. I wish I knew this. I wish I knew that. Then I'd be out there.
Can't do it all.
No. You know, just that look in my clients' eyes. I know there'll be people who'll be rolling their eyes to the back of their heads and like whatever, but I've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah.
That's a quarter of a century.
Yep.
I've spoken with personally over 17,000 clients, and they're documented. It's not numbers out of thin air.
No.
Okay, I've been supervised on these hours.
It's incredible.
Okay, and the thing is that none of us are in Ireland. Okay, I want to give a shout out to my supervisor, Dr. Catherine Mcquaid. Okay, she is my hero. I adore her. She's been supervising my work for, I would say, about 8 years now. And, you know, I met her when I moved here to Cornwall, and I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified because I was thinking, you know, is she going to think I'm balmy and you know, off the ward, and I shouldn't be practicing because I have, you know, a wild way of doing psychotherapy,
right.
You know, which is an amalgamation of, you know, that nurturing, gentle care, but also saying, right, fly, off you go.
I'll put my arm around you and then yeah. But yeah,
and
that's great. It obviously works with so many case studies and so many people that you've worked with as well, right? Incredible.
And I'll tell you what, out of the people I've worked with, only a handful have ever come back, but that was to sort of go to the next level, and build on that. Pardon me. And it's incredible. Do you know how humbling it is when somebody phones me and says, are you so and so, or rather, are you Bhavna, rather than so?
Okay. Depends how much you're paying, right? That's who's asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, are you Bhavna? I was given your number by so and so. You know, do you have any spaces?
Yeah.
Okay. Better than any marketing in the world.
There you go.
Somebody feels that level of confidence.
So important, yeah.
To actually, first of all, own up to having counselling.
Yeah.
Which is a stigma we need to break in our field.
100%, yeah.
You know, that is so important because, you know, I work with so many men who come to me, and it's almost under sort of cloak and dagger business because they don't want their colleagues or family to know that they're seeking therapy because it's seen as weak or
yeah, so true.
You know, that angers me.
Yeah.
That angers me. You know, how are we doing for time?
We've run over ages ago. But
okay.
Don't worry, we will wrap it shortly, but we're sort of well beyond the original 30 minutes. So,
Bless you.
but you know what? It's fascinating. I'm really enjoying listening to what you're saying as well. So maybe we can sort of wrap it if that's okay.
Absolutely.
In terms of, I always just say a couple of things, and I'm going to get you. So what I'll do is I'll ask you in a moment to sort of just put out any thoughts, wisdom words you want to share, anything you want to sort of share out to the community of people that will listen or watch this. But from me, just to say a huge thank you for the work you do, and you do some amazing, incredible things. 17,000 is a big number, and I think that's obviously testament to the work that you do and the way that you work and who you work with and how you support. And for anybody that wants to know more about your work and your support, I will put the details into the links to this as well, and please do look into the work that Bhavna's doing, because you are an incredible, and what do I like to say, an amazing human. There you go. So you're an amazing human. So I'm just going to pass it over to you, but thank you from me to you. Just thank you very much for everything you do. It's amazing to hear your story. So any final thoughts?
Yeah, just to any ears that hear my voice.
Yep.
Okay. Know that you are unique. There is only one of you in all of time. Before, after you, there is only one of you.
Yep.
You are unique. You are bringing things to the world nobody else can. So stop comparing yourself to others. All right, find that gift inside you and share it with the world. All right, because comparison is a toxin, it's a poison. And we can't be like anybody else, because we were created to be individual, and we are precious, more precious than all the diamonds in the world, Matt. Can you imagine that? Can you get your head around how staggeringly unique each individual is on this planet?
Amazing. That's a lovely thought for the end. So thank you so much, Bhavna, for that. I don't think the world could deal with another one of me, I guess, but so it is a good thing that we're all unique, isn't it? We don't need another one of me. My wife would definitely give testament to that. Fabulous. Thank you so much. As I always say at the end of these, if anybody is struggling, if you do need extra help, or you do even want to reach out to either of us, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure that's okay for you, Bhavna, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's about that's what this is about. It's about accessibility. You can talk to us if you want to. There are organizations out there, of course, that do support conversations if you are struggling, if you do need that extra little bit of help. So the Samaritans, of course, exist today to support conversations. 116123 is the number for that. If you want to text, you can text to shout 85258. And there are many other organizations out there. I wish I could reel them all off in one long list for you here, but know that you're not alone. That's the most important thing. We're all unique, but we shouldn't feel alone. So I think that's a key point of all of this too. So thank you so much. I wish you all the very best as your journey continues, Bhavna. So enjoy.
My pleasure.
And
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you.
Bye-bye now.